Sometimes the world feels like it is pulling at your spirit from every direction. You wake up with hope, but before the sun has even risen high enough to kiss the rooftops, someone somewhere is already trying to dim your light. And yet, there is a quiet truth in the center of your being that whispers to you in moments like these. Protect your energy because your energy is your life. It is the pulse beneath your dreams, the voice beneath your courage, and the breath beneath your becoming. You must understand something. The world will always have noise. The world will always have people who thrive on your confusion, who grow stronger when you shrink, and who clap quietly when you stumble. But you are not made to bend for every storm. You are not here to drown in the opinions of those who do not carry your soul. You are here to rise and rise again, and rise especially when the world thinks you cannot. You protect your energy by remembering who you are when everything around you tries to make you forget. You protect it by stepping back from battles that do not belong to you. Not every argument deserves your breath. Not every critic deserves the warmth of your attention. Not every comment deserves to sit in your mind like an unwelcome guest. You are not a vessel for every burden that wanders toward you. You are a flame, and flames grow brighter when they stop feeding on what harms them. There will be days when your heart feels heavy from carrying too many stories that are not yours. There will be moments when you feel drained because you kept saying yes to situations that were silently screaming no. When this happens, pause for a moment, breathe deeply, touch the center of your own spirit. That still place inside you will always remind you that protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival. It is dignity. It is the quiet act of loving yourself enough to stop letting the world use you as its emotional dustbin. You must learn the art of walking away without apologizing. The world will tell you that staying in harmful spaces makes you strong. But the truth is that strength is knowing when to leave. Strength is closing the door softly but firmly behind you. Strength is refusing to shrink just to make someone else comfortable in your presence. Strength is understanding that your peace is not up for negotiation. Protect your energy by listening closely to how people make you feel. Some people will lift you so softly that it feels like your soul is taking flight. Others will bruise you so silently that you will not notice the damage until your joy begins to limp. Pay attention to that. Your emotions are messengers. When someone drains you, that feeling is not random, it is guidance. It is your spirit saying, do not give this person so much space inside a home that was built for your dreams. Protect your energy by honoring your boundaries. Speak them with clarity. Defend them with consistency. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors, and you alone hold the key. And when someone tries to force their way into your peace, do not hesitate to lock the door and walk toward the ones who respect the space you keep sacred. And most importantly, protect your energy by being gentle with yourself. The world is already harsh enough. Be the soft place where your own heart can rest. Celebrate your small victories. Forgive your past mistakes. Speak to yourself with patience. You deserve tenderness. You deserve rest. You deserve the kind of love that does not drain you but restores you from the inside out. When you protect your energy, something magical happens. Your light grows stronger. Your spirit grows braver. And suddenly the world that once felt too loud and too cruel begins to bow before your presence. Because you are no longer reacting to every shadow that passes by. You are choosing your battles. You are choosing your peace. You are choosing yourself. And that choice, repeated again and again, becomes a revolution. A quiet, powerful revolution that turns ordinary people into giants who walk through negativity without losing their grace. So protect your energy fiercely, tenderly, courageously. The world may be heavy, but your spirit was born to rise above it. The energy you carry shapes the world you walk through. So guard it like a sacred flame. This truth is not just a statement. It is a living lesson carved into every life that has ever tried to rise above chaos. Imagine for a moment that your energy is a small but powerful fire cupped between your hands. In the beginning, it is warm and gentle. It glows softly like hope learning how to breathe. But every step you take in this world exposes that fire to winds. Some winds are kind and help your flame grow brighter. Others are cold and sharp and try to blow it out. The tragedy is that many people never realize they are holding a flame at all. They walk blindly. They let anyone and anything get close. They allow negativity to reach in like a thief and steal the very fire that keeps them alive. But the wise ones, the ones who learn, the ones who rise, the ones who begin to understand the beauty of their inner spark, they treat their energy as something sacred. There comes a moment in every life when you realize that you are not just living in the world. You are shaping it, not with your status or your wealth or your background, but with the energy you carry. You have seen it many times, even if you never named it. You enter a room with joy in your heart, and the people around you begin to soften. Their faces lift. Their spirits stretch like flowers turning toward light. You carry hope, and hope spreads. You carry peace, and peace settles on others like a gentle hand on the shoulder. But the opposite is also true. Walk into a room filled with anger or bitterness or fear, and the energy shifts. You feel tension rise like smoke in the air. One negative spirit can shape an entire space. That is how powerful energy is. So imagine now how powerful yours must be. Imagine how much influence you hold every single day. Even when you are not speaking, even when you are not trying, even when you think no one notices. Your energy is announcing you long before your words do. It is painting the world around you with the colors you carry. And if that is true, then the way you guard your energy becomes the way you guard your entire life. There was once a young person who walked through the world with an open heart. They believed every story. They trusted every smile. They gave their time, their attention, their spirit to anyone who asked for it. At first, this felt good. They felt generous and kind and needed. But slowly, they began to feel tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep can fix. A soul tiredness. A heavy, quiet loneliness that arrives when you have poured everything out and kept nothing for yourself. One day, they looked at themselves in the mirror and could not recognize their own eyes. The spark was gone. The warmth was gone. The flame was dim. And in that moment, they understood a painful truth. They had allowed the world to shape them. They had forgotten that they were meant to shape the world. That realization is the turning point for so many of us. It is the moment we begin to rebuild. The moment we learn that protecting our energy is not about becoming cold or distant. It is about becoming intentional. It is choosing who gets a seat at the table of our spirit. It is choosing which stories we allow into our mind. It is choosing which environments we give our breath to. It is the moment we begin to tell ourselves, my flame is sacred, my spirit is precious, my energy is my responsibility. Once you begin to see your energy as a sacred flame, everything changes. You start noticing the people who warm your fire just by being there, the ones whose presence feels like a soft blanket on a cold morning. You also begin to recognize the people who drain you, the ones who always leave you feeling smaller than before. And instead of ignoring these feelings, you begin to trust them. You begin to listen to your spirit. You begin to guard your flame. But here is the most beautiful part. When you protect your energy, your flame grows stronger. And the stronger it becomes, the more it shapes the world around you. Your light becomes a guide for others who are lost. Your strength becomes a shield for those who are wounded. Your courage becomes a reminder that even in a loud, dark world, one steady flame can change the atmosphere. People will try to test your boundaries. Life will try to shake your spirit. Negativity will try to crawl under your skin. But when you treat your energy as sacred, you do not let the world decide your brightness. You decide it yourself. You walk through life with intention. You walk with awareness. You walk with the knowledge that your energy is not just a part of you. It is the power that creates your reality. Every day becomes a choice. A choice to rise above rather than sink. A choice to respond with clarity instead of reacting with fear. A choice to protect your flame even when the wind grows strong. And these daily choices become your armor. They become your growth. They become your transformation. In the end, the world may be loud, but your spirit does not have to be shaken. The world may be harsh, but your inner fire does not have to be dimmed. You carry a flame that was never meant to be ordinary. It was meant to shine through storms. It was meant to warm cold places. It was meant to shape the world you walk through. Guard it, honor it, protect it like the sacred miracle it is. Not every voice deserves a home in your heart. Choose wisely whom you allow to influence your peace. This lesson arrives quietly at first, like a whisper brushing against your soul. But as life unfolds, the whisper becomes a truth so loud it echoes through everything you do. It teaches you that the world is filled with voices. Some speak gently, some speak harshly, some speak truth, some speak confusion, and some do not speak at all yet still carry an energy that affects you deeply. But the most important realization is that not all of them belong inside the sacred space of your spirit. There are people who speak to you with kindness even when they are exhausted. Their words feel like a warm hand steadying you from within. There are people whose presence alone makes you feel safe, as if the room brightens when they enter. Their voice does not just speak to your ears. It speaks to your heart. It calms your storms. It gives your spirit permission to breathe. These are voices you honor. But then there are the others. The ones who speak with bitterness disguised as honesty. The ones who criticize not to help but to wound. The ones who appear close but carry shadows in their pockets. These voices linger in your mind like dust in a forgotten corner. They leave you questioning yourself, doubting your worth, shrinking your dreams until your own inner voice becomes faint and tired. And that is when you must pause and ask yourself why you gave their words a home in your heart. Your heart is not a marketplace for every passing opinion. It is not an open house for every wandering judgment. It is not a container for every fear someone throws at you. Your heart is a sanctuary, and sanctuaries require protection. There is an old truth that says you become the voices you listen to the most. If you surround yourself with people who only speak of impossibility, you will begin to feel like your dreams are too large. If you allow people who feed your insecurities to speak louder than those who uplift you, you will begin to believe lies about yourself. If you let negativity live inside you long enough, it will start decorating the walls of your mind with doubt. And before you know it, you are living in a house that does not feel like home anymore. Think back to the times when one sentence from someone changed the way you felt about your entire day. One careless remark can bruise your confidence. One sarcastic statement can make you question your own path. One unfair criticism can make you rethink your entire worth. That is how powerful words are. And that is why you must be even more powerful in choosing which ones you allow to stay. Imagine your heart as a home with limited rooms. Each room holds something precious: your joy, your hope, your courage, your purpose. Would you allow someone with muddy shoes and careless hands to walk in and damage everything you hold dear? No. Then why allow their voice to settle inside you and disturb the things you are trying to build? There was a time in every strong person's life when they realized that peace is not found in silence. Peace is found in selection. Select the voices that speak life into you. Select the people whose honesty is gentle, whose truth is loving, whose presence is steady. Select the conversations that make you think deeper, stand taller, and love yourself a little more. Because the voices you choose become the soil in which your spirit grows. Some voices will tempt you with familiarity, even if they have hurt you before. They will say they care, yet their tone carries a sting that you have learned to ignore. But ignoring pain does not protect your peace. Setting boundaries does. Choosing distance does. Choosing yourself does. There will be moments when you must walk away from voices that once meant something to you. It will hurt at first because letting go always does. But there is a deeper hurt that comes from holding on to people who continually harm your peace. And peace is too valuable to sacrifice. Remember that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not everyone deserves the power to influence your emotions. Not everyone deserves the privilege of being believed. Your heart is not a public place. It is your home, your temple, your safe ground. Treat it as something sacred. Every day the world throws noise at you. Opinions from strangers, judgments from people who do not know you, assumptions from those who have never walked your path. If you absorb all that noise, your spirit will tire. But if you choose softly and wisely which voices enter your inner circle, your spirit will grow stronger, wiser, clearer. Choosing who you allow into your heart does not make you cold. It makes you conscious. It makes you powerful. It makes you the guardian of your own peace. And when you guard your peace, your mind becomes sharper. Your decisions become wiser. Your life becomes calmer. Your spirit becomes unstoppable. So listen closely, but choose even more closely. If a voice weakens you, it does not belong. If a voice belittles your dreams, it cannot stay. If a voice constantly brings chaos to your inner world, it has no place in the home of your heart. Let your spirit rise above the noise. Let your choices reflect your value. Let only those voices stay that help you grow, heal, and become the strongest version of yourself. Your silence, your boundaries, and your self-respect are spiritual shields against negativity. This truth does not arrive all at once. It grows slowly inside you like a seed learning how to reach for the sun. At first, you try to fight every battle with words. You explain yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. You defend your heart to those who only want to analyze it, not honor it. You try to prove your worth to those who were never meant to hold such power. And after all that effort, you still end up drained and unseen. That is when the lesson begins to rise quietly from within. Not everything requires your voice. Not every attack deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your energy. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It is wisdom taking its first breath. There are moments in life when the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. Not because you are afraid, but because you have grown. You have learned that arguing with someone committed to misunderstanding you is like pouring water into a broken cup. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough. Silence becomes your shield, not because you have nothing to say, but because what you carry is too sacred to be wasted on the unworthy. Your peace becomes more valuable than your need to be right. You begin to see that some people do not want clarity. They only want chaos. And your calm silence disarms them in a way words never could. But silence alone is not enough. You must learn the art of boundaries. Boundaries are not the walls you build out of fear. They are the doors you craft out of self-love. They say, "This is where my spirit rests, and you may only enter with respect." They say, "I do not hate you, but I love myself enough to limit your access." They say, "I choose peace over pressure, clarity over confusion, and purpose over emotional exhaustion." Boundaries teach people how to treat you. Without them, the world will walk through your heart like an uninvited storm. With them, the world learns that your soul is not a place for careless hands. But setting boundaries does not come easily, especially for those who have spent years believing that kindness means saying yes. Many people are raised to think that self-sacrifice is noble, that giving endlessly makes you good, that tolerating disrespect shows patience. But the truth is different. There is nothing noble about emptying yourself for people who offer nothing in return. There is nothing kind about abandoning your own needs for someone who does not even notice your hurt. Boundaries are love turned inward. They are self-respect made visible. And self-respect is the third shield, the one that holds the deepest power. Self-respect is not loud. It does not announce itself. It simply stands tall in your posture, steady in your choices, firm in your decisions. It is the quiet voice that says, "I am enough," even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. It is the inner truth that reminds you that you deserve to be treated with dignity, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Self-respect teaches you that walking away is sometimes the strongest step you can take. It teaches you that your worth is not a negotiation. It teaches you that your spirit does not need validation from people who refuse to see your value. When you carry self-respect, you stop chasing love, attention, and approval from the wrong places. You stop begging for kindness. You stop allowing people to rewrite your identity with their careless words. You stand up for yourself quietly, powerfully, gracefully. There comes a time when your soul begins to recognize the cost of allowing negativity too close. Every insult leaves a bruise. Every toxic conversation steals a little bit of your joy. Every draining relationship becomes a silent thief. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to lose brightness. But the moment you reclaim your silence, your boundaries, and your self-respect, your brightness returns like morning light breaking through heavy clouds. Picture a person who walks through life without these shields. They are pulled into every argument, every conflict, every emotional storm. They are exhausted, fragile, easily shaken. They give away their energy without checking who is receiving it. But picture another person who walks with these shields in place. Their silence protects their peace. Their boundaries protect their time. Their self-respect protects their heart. They move with intention. They respond only when necessary. They choose their battles. They choose their circle. They choose their growth. And because they choose wisely, their life becomes lighter, calmer, more aligned. Negativity may still try to reach them, but it cannot enter so easily. It stands outside the gates of their spirit, searching for a crack, but finds none. This person has learned that protecting one's inner world is not selfish. It is survival, it is maturity, it is the foundation of every strong, free, and fulfilled life. When you embrace these shields, something shifts inside you. You no longer fear losing people because you understand that anyone who cannot respect your peace does not deserve a place in your journey. You no longer fear disappointing others because you refuse to disappoint yourself. You no longer fear standing alone because standing alone in peace is better than standing surrounded in chaos. As you move forward, your silence becomes your strength. Your boundaries become your guidance, and your self-respect becomes the fire that keeps your spirit alive. And with these shields, you rise above negativity not by fighting it, but by outgrowing it. Healing begins the moment you stop chasing what drains you and start honoring what strengthens you. This realization does not strike like lightning. It does not announce itself with sound or urgency. Instead, it arrives gently after you have spent far too long pouring yourself into people's situations and dreams that only hollow you out. At first, you do not even notice the slow leak of your spirit. You convince yourself that giving more is the right thing, that fighting harder will fix everything, that holding on longer will eventually turn the wrong into the right. But life has a quiet way of teaching you that anything that drains you repeatedly is not meant to be saved. It is meant to be released. There comes a time when you look at the path behind you and realize how many pieces of yourself you have given away to things that never deserved them. You remember the friendships that felt like walking on glass, the relationships that asked you to shrink, to fit inside someone else's shadow, the environments that demanded your energy but offered no nourishment in return. You remember how your spirit became tired, not because you lacked strength, but because you were investing your strength in places that refused to grow with you. Healing begins when you stop blaming yourself for things that were never your responsibility, the weight you carried for others, the promises you kept while they broke theirs, the apology you offered for simply trying too hard, the identity you nearly lost while trying to help someone find theirs. When you finally let that weight fall from your shoulders, you feel your soul rise for the first time in a long time. But healing is not just about letting go. Letting go is only the doorway. Healing is stepping through it. When you stop chasing what drains you, you create the space needed to discover what strengthens you. You begin to feel the difference between exhaustion and effort, between emptiness and sacrifice, between loyalty and self-betrayal. You start asking yourself powerful questions. Who makes me feel seen? Who makes me feel valued? Who brings out the gentleness in me, the courage in me, the clarity in me? These questions become the lanterns that light your way forward. You begin to notice how your spirit responds to certain people. With some, you feel yourself shrinking even when they speak softly. With others, you feel yourself expanding, as though your soul has more room to breathe. That sensation is not random, it is guidance. It is your inner wisdom saying move toward what restores your fire and away from what steals it. Healing also requires courage. It means walking away even when your heart is attached. It means saying no even when your voice trembles. It means choosing yourself even when guilt tries to tell you that self-preservation is selfish. It means breaking patterns that have shaped your life for years. And the hardest part is this: healing often requires you to disappoint the very people who depended on your lack of boundaries. But each time you choose your well-being over someone else's comfort, a layer of strength builds inside you. You begin to transform from someone who survives life to someone who shapes it. Your voice becomes steadier. Your mind becomes sharper. Your heart becomes lighter. You start honoring what strengthens you. The quiet moments that bring you clarity. The people who inspire you with their kindness. The dreams that stretch your imagination instead of suffocating it. The habits that make your mornings feel steady and your nights feel peaceful. You begin watering parts of yourself that have been thirsty for years. You stop focusing on what you lost and start focusing on what you are growing. And slowly, beautifully, you become someone new. Or perhaps someone you always were but never had the chance to be. Someone who wakes up without carrying yesterday's wounds. Someone who trusts their inner voice more than outer noise. Someone who knows that their energy is a treasure, not a currency for others to spend carelessly. There will still be days when old memories tug at you. Days when you question your progress. Days when the past tries to convince you to return. But healing is not a straight road. Healing is a spiral. You revisit the same lessons again and again until they no longer hurt, until they no longer control you, until they no longer define you. And each time you rise from those moments, you rise stronger and wiser. When you honor what strengthens you, your entire life begins to shift. The right people gravitate toward your calm. The right opportunities find their way to your clarity. The right experiences unfold in the spaces you create by releasing the things that once drained you. You stop fighting for a place in rooms that do not align with your spirit. Instead, you build your own rooms. Rooms filled with love that feels gentle, conversations that feel nourishing, and decisions that feel aligned with the deepest truth of who you are. This is what healing looks like. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not require applause. It shows itself in the softness of your smile, the steadiness of your breath, the peace in your decisions. It shows itself in the way you no longer chase what hurts, and in the way you naturally move toward what feels like sunlight. This is the moment everything changes. When you choose what strengthens you instead of what drains you, you stop surviving life and start living it. There comes a moment at the end of every long battle, every quiet struggle, every chapter of pain and rising, when the soul stands still and finally understands itself. And that is where this journey of protecting your energy in a negative world leads you to the moment you realize that everything you were searching for was already waiting within you, just asking to be honored, protected, and awakened. You were never born to be consumed by the noise of the world. You were born to walk through it with a light so steady that even the darkness pauses to understand you. And now you know your silence can be power, your boundaries can be armor, your self-respect can be a sword, and your energy can be a kingdom that only the deserving may enter. If you have ever felt small in the presence of chaos, remember that a single flame can silence a whole room of shadows. If you have ever felt lost in the noise of people who never understood your heart, remember that the world does not decide your worth. You do. And if you have ever felt like your spirit was bending under burdens that were never yours to carry, remember this: your energy is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. You cannot breathe life into others while you are suffocating. You cannot pour love into people who bring empty cups and broken intentions. You cannot rise if you are chained to what is pulling you down. This is your moment to choose yourself boldly. This is your moment to pick up your power again. This is your moment to declare to the universe that you will no longer dim your flame to comfort those who fear light. You will no longer shrink for anyone. You will no longer apologize for requiring respect. You will no longer remain in places that drain you. You will no longer bend for people who never learned how to stand beside you. Every person who rises begins by letting go. Letting go of environments that poison their spirit. Letting go of people who only show love when it benefits them. Letting go of habits that weaken the heart. Letting go of the old version of themselves that tolerated everything. That version of you is gone now. A stronger one stands in its place. A wiser one, a braver one, a version of you that finally understands that peace is not given. Peace is built. Peace is earned. Peace is protected. You are not here to survive the world. You are here to shape it. And the world you shape begins within. You become the architect of your inner life. You decide who enters. You decide who stays. You decide who never gets close again. You decide which voices feed your spirit and which ones are starved of attention until they fade. You decide that your heart will no longer be a battlefield, but a sanctuary. And once you make that decision, everything changes. The world respects the person who respects themselves. The universe moves for the person who moves for their own healing. Life opens doors for the person who stops chasing what drains them and starts walking toward what strengthens them. When your energy is protected, your path becomes clear. When your path becomes clear, your purpose becomes louder. And when your purpose becomes louder, not even the weight of negativity can hold you down. Remember this: every storm runs out of rain, but a strong soul never runs out of rise. Every night ends, but a determined heart never stops shining. Every battle has an end, but your spirit was built to begin again. You hold the power to rebuild your peace anytime you choose. So when the world tries to break your spirit, stand taller. When negativity tries to infect your mind, speak life into yourself. When chaos tries to enter your heart, shut the door with boundaries made of steel. When someone tries to drain your energy, remind yourself that you are not a source for their emptiness. When life becomes heavy, remember that you are heavier. You are made of storms you survived. You are made of days you thought would destroy you, yet you still rose. You are made of resilience that most people will never understand. And as you protect your energy, say the words that every powerful soul eventually learns to say: I will not be lowered. I will not be shaken. I will not be pulled into battles that do not belong to me. I choose peace. I choose growth. I choose myself. Because the truth is simple but mighty. The world becomes brighter the moment you become brighter. And you become brighter the moment you choose to guard your flame. So rise with intention, walk with clarity, speak with purpose. Protect your energy like a kingdom no enemy can enter. And remember one final thing. Your light is not meant to flicker in the wind. It is meant to burn so boldly that the world cannot help but take notice. This is not just an ending. This is the beginning of a stronger you.